if you get a subculture in which the way you get prestige is by calling someone out, showing that they're racist, sexist, homophobic, transphobic, Islamophobic, whatever it is, if you can catch them, you get the points. What you're doing here is you're imposing an external cost on others. And that's what makes you so insufferable.
YouTube was a site that was launched so that individuals could express their own creative freedom. Why are we no longer allowed to say what we want without the risk of being censored or cancelled? Cancellations in some circumstances are appropriate, but I'm using the word cancellation for the lack of a better word. Sure, if you have a big star, or anyone for that matter, texting underage girls, then seriously, think about what you're doing. That is not good by any standard. And maybe you deserve to have your career ruined for doing something as stupid as that. But seriously, do you ever think about the agenda behind why people make allegations like this? Do we ever think about the agenda behind why someone tries to cancel someone? Most of the time, the people doing the cancelling are very insignificant people who, to be quite frank, haven't achieved much of significance in their own lives. Most of these people just stumble across an opportunity to get a 15-second window of significance by bringing someone down who spent their entire life working on a skill like content creation or comedy. Keemstar even posted a video stating that people on Twitter are trying to bring down big content creators by saying that they were rude to them.
And these have a wide range of claims. Bad date experiences, a guy was rude to them.
But just for 1 second, think about this idea. The idea of trying to cancel a big content creator because they were rude to you. Think about how self-centered and rude this is by the person trying to do the allegations. You're trying to bring down a big influential content creator who's likely inspired thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of kids, adults, teenagers, just for you to feel a little bit more significant about how you brought down a big content creator for being rude to you. You are going to try and bring down a big influential content creator who might have saved someone from a depressive slump or even worse, suicide, just so you can get a shout out from Keemstar on Twitter. To me, that sounds like a much more wretched agenda than someone being rude to you. And on top of this, every single YouTuber on this site right now was inspired by another YouTuber. It's like this weird chain. YouTubers inspire other YouTubers. What happens when YouTubers in that chain start getting cancelled for the stupidest reasons? How many potential PewDiePies or Mr. Beasts down the line are never going to start their channel in the first place because someone who might have inspired them has now been cancelled for pretending to jerk off to someone's sister? And Jaden Smith, get the hell over it, dude. One of the unspoken contract rules of having a sister is that your friends will never stop making inappropriate jokes about them. And one thing I learned the hard way is that the more you say, "Fuck off, stop making jokes about my sister," the more they'll continue to do it. But I guess when you're an international celebrity, you can cry over someone making jokes about your sister over 10 years and people from the community will still try and comfort you. But seriously, Jaden, grow the fuck up, you massive attention-seeking pussy. And also, is it just me or is the bar getting lower and lower for getting cancelled? It's like 2015, back in the Lion Maker days. You had to have numerous cases of sexual assault which were all plausible and entirely provable by multiple different parties before an audience would boycott you on YouTube. Now it's like Shane Dawson said someone's sister is hot, minus 700,000 subscribers. And the stuff that Shane's done isn't even that bad. It's like all pretty standard stuff that we do in year 8. And this video isn't supposed to be about Shane Dawson or what Keemstar's done wrong, because I actually kind of like Keemstar, and as if there aren't enough videos on the internet already about what Keemstar's done wrong. But in the Shane Dawson Keemstar drama video, Keemstar does him wrong by priming the whole thing by saying that the video is so bad that he can't show it.
And videos came out that are so bad against Shane Dawson. I mean, these are incredibly bad. I can't show you these, but it is Shane Dawson interacting with minors very inappropriately.
Which I think is immoral and wrong, because if you can't show the video, then you're not letting the audience draw their own conclusion. Keemstar then goes on to show a tweet from Shane Dawson from 2012, and I guess, yeah, it's pretty bad, but the internet was a totally different place back then. You can't pin someone for something that they said 8 years ago. It's a totally different YouTube landscape, political landscape, comedy landscape, and on top of this, a totally different level of maturity for the individual. Who better to support my claims than Keemstar himself talking about his own mistakes in the past?
Even Shane Dawson had a lot of edgy humor.
Yeah.
You know, when he was in that prime. You know,
I'm sure everyone did.
I mean, Shane Dawson's literally being exposed for stories about calling children and cats and everything else. And it's like, you hear this stuff and you're like, how could you, Shane? But then for someone like me remembers, oh, the internet that's what the internet was.
Well, that was
like, because the internet changed, right? Like if you're a racist, you're a bad person. If you say something racist, you're a bad person. back then, and I know this seems crazy, like to say this, but the more crazy you were, the more homophobic, racist, or whatever you were, it didn't even matter. Like people want it and expected the internet to be that back then.
But I also think that you can't excuse every action made by someone by just saying that it was a long time ago. Even Paul Bernardo tried to use this one when trying to get out of a new murder charge, saying that he had murdered some people a while ago, but that was a long time ago, so now he's a changed man.
I made mistakes 17 years ago. Okay, fine, I did. But now we're talking about today.
We have to look at context, relevancy, and intentionality. And that is one of the big issues. Context, relevancy, and intentionality has gone out the window in current PC culture climate. And that's what I hate the most. What do I mean by this? Well, if we look at our previous video on Lion Maker, he's asking 13-year-old girls for naked photos. This is obviously awful because the intentionality is that he's getting naked photos for his own personal use. This is awful and this is cancelable. This is enough to have you thrown off YouTube and potentially even thrown in jail. But compare this to the current video that Shane's trying to get cancelled from, where him and his girlfriend are asking a 12-year-old about sex. The intentionality is not anything creepy. He's not trying to get into her underage pants. It's a little bit of light-hearted comedy which was acceptable at the time. It's easy to frame each situation as asking underage girls inappropriate question, but one of them is clearly worse. I love this tweet that I found by Caps yesterday where he said that there is a big difference between exposing someone for something that they did 8 years ago and exposing someone for being a sexual predator. And that's one of the other big issues. You can frame whatever you want, however you want, if you know how to do it. And trust me, Keemstar knows how to do it very well. On top of this, does anyone feel like hate content on YouTube is at its highest that it's ever been before? Downfall videos, drama videos, cancellations, YouTubers exposed. I swear I can't go on YouTube these days without a solid chunk of my recommendations being someone making a mistake or someone getting cancelled or some BS like that. And perhaps it relates to what I watch to gather research on my videos, but if we ignore my YouTube recommendations, I'm sure everyone can agree that cancellations seem to be at their absolute highest. Keemstar is quite literally pumping out daily drama alert videos all about people being cancelled, saying that he can't post enough videos to keep up with all the different people being cancelled.
Going through the 57 Me Too statements that have come out in gaming entertainment.
But let me correlate that with another thing that seems to be at its absolute highest. Censorship and ensuring that all the content on YouTube is family friendly. This is something that I've literally never seen talked about on YouTube before, so I'd love to discuss it. How can hate content be at its absolute highest while political correctness and censorship also happen to be at, without a doubt, their absolute highest? Isn't the whole idea of censorship to reduce negativity and hate? It seems as though the whole mission of ensuring that content is family friendly has done nothing except switch the whole thing on its head and create a reason for why people should be offended by certain types of content. Censorship is quite literally bringing the system undone and causing more hate content than ever before because, ironically, the level of political correctness is the only thing regulating whether a piece of content is inappropriate or not. Think back to 2015 and 2016 when Filthy Frank, prank channels, and excessive swearing reigned supreme on YouTube. I swear there was like literally no hate content on the whole website. And this is probably backed up by the fact that Keemstar said that before he created Drama Alert in 2015, there was no one reporting on any of the drama on YouTube. Even with this video right now, it's like, should I even share my opinion? Can this be taken out of context? Can I get pinned by this later? But seriously, think back to 2015 or 2016 YouTube, before Adpocalypse, before all the BS censoring. And if you think even further back to pre-2014, before PC culture started, before safe spaces, before trigger warnings, there was never any question about whether something was appropriate to post or not. People would just post whatever they wanted to post. Swearing, no swearing, risky, not risky. It didn't matter, there was no censorship. But again, isn't it ironic that at a time when the internet was absolutely flooded with politically incorrect content, there also happened to be no hate content? It didn't matter. If something offended you, you just went, oh, okay, that was kind of offensive, and then you went to the next video. Now you say something moderately inappropriate, and you not only risk the cancellation of your YouTube channel, but your whole life. Imagine applying for a job in 10 years' time. The employer Googles your name and finds out that 10 years ago you dropped an M-bomb on a YouTube video that was blown way out of proportion by some schmuck just trying to get some clicks. And here's another concept. Everyone watching YouTube 4 years ago when there was all that politically incorrect content are the same people who are watching YouTube now. Think about that for a second. Despite it being the same people watching the content from 4 years ago, how come now it's suddenly inappropriate to say the same thing that you were saying 4 years ago? But this is also a good thing. Part of me loves the fact that there's now a gap between what you can and can't say on YouTube. I love the fact that people are being exposed for absolutely abhorrent things like underage grooming. But I also hate the fact that people are being cancelled for things that are being taken out of context, such as underage grooming. But the negative side of this is that creativity is taking a blow on the website. Creators aren't willing to say what they want or what they believe in, all out of fear of losing ad revenue or potential sponsors. Let's finish this video on a positive though. Cancel culture going too far isn't such a bad thing because people are starting to understand how toxic cancel culture is. Even Elon Musk said it himself, cancel culture. People are beginning to realize that hive mentality on this website exists and that you don't have to believe what everyone else wants to believe. You can think for yourself and you can have your own opinion, and I love that. So if there's one thing that you get out of this whole cancel culture time incident thingo, it's that you can have freedom of thought and that you should have your own freedom of thought. Think your own way. Stop for 1 second and think to yourself about why someone is getting cancelled. Why is that specific person being ratted out? Why is Keemstar making his video? There is usually way more that meets the eye to these specific incidents, so guys, stay wary, and as always, thanks for watching. That's what Vsauce says in his videos. I'm gonna say that. Guys, thank you for watching, like and subscribe. Again, think for yourself. It will just give you so much advantage in life. Trust me, think for yourself, think for yourself, think for yourself, think for yourself. Thank you guys, bye.